life insurance? Life insurance specialist Uriah Kane is here to tell you the 3 reasons you need it. Uriah, welcome to the Wealthy Life.
Thanks for having me, Sybil.
Now, as an insurance specialist who I assume has been doing this for some time, we won't give your secrets away, what are the 3 reasons people need life insurance?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Typically what we're normally seeing is reason number 1, or people are being encouraged to consider insurance, is if they're looking to purchase a home, they've taken on some debt with a mortgage.
You mean they don't want to die and leave someone with a big debt to pay?
Not normally, no.
Well, no one wants to die, but
No.
they definitely don't want to leave their loved ones with a big debt, a bill to pay.
Exactly, yeah. So it's pretty common for people to be approached about considering getting some life insurance to pay down debt in the event that something happens.
I'm just thinking, especially young families.
Especially young families.
You know, if one partner goes and you've got a big mortgage and you've got kids, okay, so definitely good reason number 1.
Reason number 1, yeah. Reason number 2, replace income. I'll use myself as an example. I commute back and forth to work, and if something were to happen to me at this point, we've still got a family with some kids at home, and knowing that there was some insurance in place that could be used to replace my income in the event that something happened is a second reason why people typically consider getting some insurance in place.
Income is a big one. If you think someone making $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 a year, and then all of a sudden it's gone, that's a lot of money to have to replace for the surviving members of the family.
Exactly. So a general rule of thumb is anywhere from 10 to 15 times annual household income is kind of a rule of thumb that we use across the industry for getting adequate insurance in place in the event that something were to happen to either spouse in the family.
Okay, so viewers, check and see if you've got 10 to 15 times your annual income in life insurance. Great. Now let's talk about the 3rd reason. Yeah,
so reason number 3, if I was to summarize it, I would suggest that life insurance as an advanced financial planning tool is really where I spend most of my time.
Ooh, I like the sounds of this.
Yeah, so I'll give you a couple of examples of what I mean by that. It's not uncommon for us to see people who are really philanthropic in some of their goals and aspirations going forward and wanting to maximize their estate by using life insurance, which can then be donated down the road, is a pretty common practice in advanced estate planning, depending on kind of the client file we're working on.
So you mean donating it to charity?
Exactly,
yeah. So if charitable giving is really important to you, and I know a number of people have charities as part of their estate plan.
Exactly.
Tell me a little bit about how they would use insurance for
that.
So
there's a couple of different ways you can set it up. One, for example, is the life insurance, once it's in place, those individuals can name a charity or foundation that they affiliate with or have a soft spot in their heart for, and they can name that charity as one of the beneficiaries to benefit from that future death benefit. That's scenario number 1.
Wow.
Scenario number 2 is we can see a situation where the life insurance policy is donated to that charity or foundation, and that triggers some tax credits and benefits on the front end for the individual donating the policy. So the foundation.
Okay, so let's pause there for a minute. So if I bought an insurance policy that I wanted to give to the charity, then I might be able to deduct the payments along the way, or there might be some tax benefits to me now.
Exactly.
While I'm alive, and then when I'm gone, the charity gets it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tax-free.
Tax-free.
Okay.
Yep. So there's a couple of advantages to how we can set it up that way, where there can be the potential for some additional tax benefits, credits, deductions, depending on how it's structured for that family.
Great. So you mentioned there was a couple of other scenarios for wealth planning.
Right. Yeah. So 2 other scenarios that came to mind, as we were kind of preparing for the conversation today. A lot of my time is spent in the next 2, which is looking at the tax advantages, especially for business owners who've accumulated wealth inside their private companies. That's a lot of my time right now is spent in that area specifically.
Yeah.
And as their assets accumulate in those private companies, either in the active business they're in or passive investments and other things as they build an nest egg for retirement, they have a tax on death and a tax on growth issue as those assets accumulate inside of that situation.
Right.
And
so how do they get it out? How do they fix that?
Yeah, good question. So one strategy, not the only strategy, but one approach in some cases where it makes sense is we can look at setting up a life insurance policy and not only just having that structure in place, but customizing it in a specific way. We can actually start overfunding it to start building an investment inside of that insurance structure I'm referring to. It's owned by the company. The company is the owner, the payer, the beneficiary. The business owner is the life insured.
So the key in that is they move money that would be normally taxable
exactly.
into a tax shelter, because
Exactly.
Overfunding a life insurance policy can act as a tax shelter for some money.
That's exactly it. So there's a lot in that landscape, though, and so that's really the reason why my specialization exists.
And let's touch real briefly on the last one, and then we'll be out of time.
Sure. So the last point is simply the ability to transition those assets intergenerationally out of the corporation to family or charities or foundations that the business owner supports because of something called the capital dividend account. So all of those different reasons are important depending on the client and the situation that we're working in, but all of them are reasons for considering life insurance.
Okay, that is a lot of information to absorb. The first two are super simple.
Super simple.
Pay off debt and cover loss of income. But when it comes to wealth accumulation and wealth planning and legacy planning and estate planning, there's some tricks up your sleeve that I think people would benefit from. So thank you for sharing that.